Hey everybody, what's up? This is Aleph One, and I just wanted to share one of my favorite games of Cuttle from the recent Diamonds 2025 Cuttle Season Championship in the entire tournament. I mean, there were some excellent games played, but this one in particular really stood out to me. This is Game 5 of the Grand Finals championship match between Avi and MonarchMan. And MonarchMan was coming from the winner's bracket, and this is the first match, which means that Avi would need to win a best 3 out of 5 and then reset the bracket and win an additional best 3 out of 5 in order to take the tournament. And the score was 2 to Avi, 1 to MonarchMan, and 1 stalemate going into this game 5. And it was just an incredible game. I thought it would be really cool to check it out. So, as we start out, both players begin by drawing up a little bit, and then we start to see some presses. MonarchMan is the first to drop a king, and then Avi drops one right back, which is generally a bit of a spicy move because MonarchMan could seize the initiative if he pushes right here. But instead, MonarchMan drops the queen, and here we see this interesting king-king threat from Avi against queen-king from MonarchMan. Now, this is check that Avi has MonarchMan in, so MonarchMan can either call the bluff and say, oh, I don't think you have a 10, which would lose him the game, or press on. MonarchMan uses a 2 to pop one of the kings, at which point Avi is going to draw back up. And part of what I really like about this game, in particular between Avi and MonarchMan here, is it was so scrappy because both players had these kings out for the so much of this game. We see checks back and forth and pushing and counter pushing and barely hanging on with a whole bunch of crazy defense. And so it's a real nail biter. Now, MonarchMan has Avi in check, and Avi responds, scuttling with the 10 of hearts. Back to MonarchMan, who draws back up. Ouch! Avi hits MonarchMan with a 4, while MonarchMan has only 3 cards in hand. He could counter it and keep his 7-3, but instead, MonarchMan chooses to discard the 7 and the 3, going down to just a 2 in hand. So here, MonarchMan's got a pretty strong board with the queen-king setup, but he doesn't have the points to push for a win. Meanwhile, Avi has more total cards and enough points to win, but doesn't have a queen to back up his one-off effects, making this counter potentially lethal for MonarchMan. MonarchMan draws back up. So does Avi. Now here, MonarchMan does a spicy bluff. This is a king 4 check. It would require specifically a 10 to win. And we see that Avi's got the 10 of spades, and the 10 of hearts is already in the scrap. So there's only 2 10s left that MonarchMan could have here. But Avi chooses to respect the check and scuttles with the 8 of clubs. Pretty expensive defensive play. And here we see MonarchMan drawing back up. He just wants enough points that he can drop a significant check. But before he can do so, Avi checks him back. 8 of hearts. So we see the 8 of spades used to scuttle. That's a pretty clean scuttle, going right back and leaving MonarchMan with his 2 still defended by the queen. But now both players are drawing up, and the question is who's going to get enough to push a serious offense first? Now Avi has a 2 as well. It's sort of negated by MonarchMan's queen, but it's there. Okay, so now MonarchMan has a 5, and we're going to see some really cool 5 play in this game. Avi 2's the queen, but it's countered by MonarchMan. That puts MonarchMan with 5 jack. You could consider 5ing here, but instead he draws, as does Avi. They're drawing back and forth, trying to get enough points to win. And yet again, MonarchMan bluffing. 6 of spades. He needs 14 to win with that king, and he doesn't have it with just a 5 jack. But it would be pretty bold for Avi to assume that MonarchMan doesn't have enough points to win, because MonarchMan would only need an 8 or more. And so we see an ace go off. No counter left to deal with it, nor enough points to follow up. Now suddenly MonarchMan has drawn enough that he could actually push for it. If he drops this 9 next turn, that'll be checked. But before he does, Avi has the chance to 3. And so Avi pulls the 10 of hearts. And now he's sitting on 10 of hearts, 10 of spades in hand. That's really strong. MonarchMan chooses not to push, draws again, pulls a 3 himself. And here comes the 10 of hearts. Okay, back to check. Now MonarchMan needs to defend. Will he use the jack? He does. So now Avi is in check. And this is the kind of scrappy slugfest that personally I just love in a good game of Cuttle. So now Avi has the choice between scuttling with the 10 of spades, which hurts to do, or playing the ace and risk being countered. We've seen 3 twos, so there's only one left. But if MonarchMan is sitting on it, which Avi doesn't know, then a counter to that ace would be deadly, and MonarchMan would have the game. Avi risks it, wanting to hold on to that 10 of spades, and the ace goes off, which confirms to Avi that MonarchMan doesn't have a 2, because if he did, he would have won the game already. Now it's MonarchMan's play, and he pushes with the 9 of spades. Scuttled with that 10 of spades that Avi was hoping so hard to hold on to. Now it's MonarchMan's play, and he drops the 3, pulling the 10 of spades back. Alley-oop. Always satisfying to see something get scrapped that you want to pull back with your 3. And here's an empty hand 5. Now this is a pivotal moment in the game, because now that MonarchMan has pulled the 10 of spades, Avi knows that MonarchMan is about to drop that 10 of spades, because why on earth wouldn't he? And he'd have queen, king, 10 of spades. There's only a few cards that can deal with that. Jacks are out. He needs an ace or a 6 specifically. And so Avi is hoping, heart of the cards, pull me an ace or a 6 with this empty hand 5 to draw 3 without a penalty of discard. And boom, he gets both. Oh, a beautiful draw. MonarchMan doesn't know what he's in for, so of course he pushes with this 10 of spades. It's a really powerful offense, and there aren't many answers to it, but ooh, Avi has it. So ace kills the 10 of spades, and now MonarchMan gets an empty hand 5. Draws 3 for free. Those empty hand 5s are a powerful move when you can maneuver into them. Now it's back to Avi. Drops the queen. Now we have king, queen on both sides of the board. Avi with a 6 in hand in case he needs to devastate the entirety of the board. MonarchMan puts Avi in check. That leaves Avi just one choice unless he wants to assume that MonarchMan doesn't have the points. And oof, 6 goes off, scraps 4 royal cards in one play, resets the board. And now Avi's in trouble because he's only got 1 card to MonarchMan's 3 in hand, 1 on the board. Big check from MonarchMan pushing, but the exact card that Avi drew, that ace, is just what he needs to stay alive by the skin of his teeth. Here's a 4. That can be scary as well. Okay, so now MonarchMan drops the 8. Ooh, and Avi is drawing, and these jacks are just a beautiful answer to what Avi needs. Okay, jacked and jacked back. Jacked yet again. Now MonarchMan is going to be forced to draw, at which point that 4 is opened up beautifully, and now discards both the 7s. Nobody has any cards in hand. 1 card on the board each, and we're just scrambling to draw. There's 12 cards left in the deck. This could very well be a stalemate. Who's going to muster enough oomph to pull off a win? Avi draws the 2. That's the only one left. It's an unanswerable counter, and yet it's not the points he needs to win. What are they going to pull? Heart of the cards. Here comes a check from MonarchMan. That's 15 points on the board. Only answer is to scuttle. Back to MonarchMan. And a 3rd empty hand 5. Countered. No empty hand 5 for you. No triple draw. Back to Avi. And now the initiative is reversed, and Avi had the first chance to draw. So in the race, Avi's barely ahead, drawing enough points. Is he going to get it to win? He pulls the queen. That's not what he needs right now. That brings the advantage back to MonarchMan because MonarchMan has just drawn enough points. Does he have it? 13 and 6 is 19. Not enough. Okay, Avi gets the 3. There's some ripe opportunities there. Ooh, a big 6. This scraps all of the cards. 18 points in hand. Sorry, 18 points on the board. Avi doesn't have enough. He draws, hoping for the best. The 5 lands, and good game for MonarchMan, tying it up 2-2, going into game 6 in the first round of the grand finals between Avi and MonarchMan in the Diamonds 2025 Cuttle Season Championship. This was just one game in an exceptional tournament, but I thought it was so cool, I wanted to share it with you all. I hope you enjoyed.